It's time for another Out of Bounds Rewind with Bo Bounds on ESPN 105.9, The Zone.
And so we welcome in Steve Robertson, 247 Sports, Gene's page on the show. Steve, do you think, does this kind of change the status for Leach within the fan base? There felt like there was some fatigue and apathy setting in. What do you think?
Yeah, I think in some respects it does. There were a lot of people that were still kind of fence sitters. And, let's be honest, a lot of this angst and maybe acrimony of the last few weeks has been the fear of losing the egg again, to 3 straight. I mean, it's one of those things that I guess there's only been one coach in history that's lost 3 consecutive Egg Bowls, and ultimately he was fired, and that was Slick Morton. But I think there are a lot of people out there. Now you've got the egg back. You've improved your regular season record from a year ago with a more difficult schedule. And I think people think that this program took a step forward. Maybe not as big a stride forward as maybe many had hoped, but certainly moving in the right direction.
Talk about how Will Rogers did not play well, and yet they found enough on the ground in the second half. And the defense was unbelievable, tackling in space and so on, and pressuring Dart. If I would have told you that Will Rogers was not going to play well and Mississippi State was still going to win, what would you have said on Thursday afternoon?
I probably would have been very surprised. And I think in the end, the defense played without a doubt one of its best games of the year, and special teams was so huge. I thought George Geropoulos had his best game in the uniform, because punting's been a bit of an adventure this year. But the defense and special teams kept State in the game until the offense kind of figured it out. And, Will didn't play well, and he'll tell you the same. But there was that huge drive right before the half. It was really a game changer for State, because you go down, 2 scores at the break, even though you've got the ball coming out at the end of the half, you begin to think this thing may get away from us. But that drive and then that pass to Tulu there to pull within 2 points right before the break, I thought was very significant. And I think a lot of that is Will Rogers just kind of willing that team into the end zone. But, it's amazing to look back at hindsight and see how bad the offense was in the middle portion of the game, but you still found a way to win.
There's several MVPs, Tulu Griffin recovering the fumble, Arnett in the defense, the offensive line in the second half. You mentioned field position. You kind of feel like Ole Miss kind of finds themselves in better field position a lot more than MSU. And you're right, MSU won that battle. Where would you go out of the ones that I just listed?
That's a good question. I think I might go with probably with Buki Watson or the linebacker core for as well as they played the run and fitting gaps and kind of getting Judkins before he really got going. And even though he did have a decent game, not what many people expected. I think a lot of people really thought he would have a huge game. They holding 91 yards, I think is what it was. But the play, and you mentioned it, Bo, of Tulu Griffin diving and taking that fumble away from Otis Reese. Otis Reese is trying to measure his steps there and scoop and score, which is what you're taught to do. And Tulu Griffin just dives in there and takes it away and gives State an opportunity to punt. We're probably having a different conversation today if he doesn't make that play.
Steve Robertson on the Dos Equis guest line. Mississippi State won the Golden Egg game.
Don't miss one moment of the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Weekdays, 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. on ESPN 105.9, The Zone.